Now, get any good bargains in the Black Friday sale. Now, I use the word bargain lightly because if you didn't really need it in the first place but were drawn in by the offer of a seemingly good deal, have you actually saved any money? Well, a new pop-up shop has opened in Bristol which aims to challenge the consumerism of Black Friday. It's called Electric Avenue, and all the items are, get this, free. On the line to tell us more is Gavin Ellis from the environmental charity Hubbub, which is behind the shop. Free? What's going on, Gavin?
Morning. Yes, so basically they're all items that have been donated by Bristol residents. Some of the electrical items weren't fit for use and they'll be recycled, but those that were in a good state to be reused they've obviously been cleaned, they've been safety tested, and now we're giving them away at Electric Avenue, which is in the galleries. It opened yesterday, Black Friday, and it runs through to the 5th of December. It's
such a good idea because it really does show you that, you know, there are so many things that we just shouldn't be throwing away.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so electronic waste is a huge source of waste. So just give you a few stats to put it in context. 57 million tonnes of electronic waste get discarded globally every year. So that outweighs the Great Wall of China. Only 20% of that is currently recycled. And here in the UK, we're quite big culprits for this. So only Norway produces more electronic waste per person than the UK in the whole world. So we're the second biggest contributor to that issue. And the issue has lots of kind of facets to it. So in terms of climate and carbon emissions, it's actually a huge and growing source of carbon emissions. And obviously, you know, we've recently had COP26. I'm sure that's on many of your listeners' minds at the moment. But it's easy to forget things like electronic waste are contributors to that, as well as obviously, you know, precious metals and such like that go into creating those items. So lots of it is able to be reused, and that's what we're trying to make clear in Electric Avenue.
It is difficult because if you don't reuse it but try to recycle it in the way of using all the bits in it, it's ever so. I can't imagine it's cost effective to undo all these goods and get all the components out that are recyclable.
Yeah, you'd be surprised actually. There are lots of companies out there that can strip it down and they can recycle all the different elements of it. So, you know, what we've been trying to do with this project is, I suppose, to signpost the different routes that are available for residents in Bristol. I mean, you can put them out on, you know, as part of your collections, and Bristol Waste will collect them. Bristol Waste are a partner on the project along with EcoSurety. Yeah. And they'll collect them, and they'll either then, you know, they'll take a view on whether they're able to be reused or recycled. So you know, it's literally on your doorstep, the ability to do that. You can also take, if you're buying a new item, as of the start of this year, any electrical retailer has to accept your old item in return, and they'll recycle it for you. So if you're buying a new toaster, let's say, you can take your old toaster in, give it to them, they'll recycle it, and you buy the new toaster from them. So there are lots of different ways of doing it.
And you know, there are lots of share and repair type shops now where people can take items as all sorts of items, not just electrical ones. So yeah, the message perhaps is getting through. Do you think, or not?
I think it's a growing trend. There's obviously a long way to go. There's another fantastic permanent shop in Bristol in Avonmouth, the Reuse Shop, which is run by Bristol Waste. So that's there permanently. Obviously, what we're doing in galleries is just a pop-up until the 5th of December. But I think there is more and more of this, and just showing the benefit of, I suppose, second-hand and reused, and we don't always need to buy brand new when there's so much stuff out there already in the world.
Yeah, and it makes, you know, you can actually... It is. I remember sort of when I first started noticing that lots of electrical goods particularly were built not to last, if that makes sense, so that when it was cheaper. I mean, what's the thing that's photocopiers? It's cheaper to buy a new one because the inks are so expensive. They do it deliberately, and then all these machines get thrown out, don't they? Because, you know, you can buy one for the same cost as a new one for the same cost of the inks. It's things like that. Things aren't built to last because they want you to buy more, don't they? So hopefully that might stop at some point.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot that manufacturers and perhaps legislation needs to do to tackle that, certainly, and that's partly that kind of thing is partly responsible for this kind of growing mountain of electronic waste. But I think there's a lot that we can also do as individuals as well in terms of, in terms of purchasing and just considering whether we do need to buy brand new every time.
I mean, that's it. It's doing it at source, isn't it? Thinking about it a lot earlier before it gets to this point, isn't it? But it's just something like Black Friday does encourage you to buy, even just because the bargains look so good that you often do spend money when actually you'd never intended to buy anything.
Well, it's interesting. So we did some surveying on this last year, actually, some polling, and 4 in 10 people in the UK said that they feel pressured at Black Friday to buy things that they don't necessarily really need, because the advertising is just everywhere, isn't it? You can't, your inbox is full of it, the TV advertising is full of it, billboards are covered in Black Friday advertising. So it's really hard to escape that message. And I think a lot of people do feel pressured into buying things they don't necessarily need. Of course, for some people, it's a great opportunity to pick up a bargain, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we're just trying to highlight with this that this issue of electronic waste is big and it's growing, and we really need to start focusing on what we can do. And there's lots that we can do, and there's lots of fantastic, as we've found with this shop, lots of fantastic second-hand items out there that have already. So yesterday, I should say, actually in the shop, it pretty much got cleared out of the stock. The first day got cleared out in about half an hour. You can only take one item per person. Yeah. And we're encouraging people as well to bring in items to the shop as well. So if you are visiting, do have a route around. If you've got any old electronic items at home, bring them in. We can get them cleaned and pat tested in the shop. Sort of safety tested, that is. Yeah. And we can give them away as part of the shop. So do bring them in if you're visiting. All right, great stuff. In the galleries, then, what floor are you on? Oh, good question. Yeah, you're in the galleries. We'll find you. Yeah, you'll find it. Yeah, the ground floor, I think it is, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Okay. Nice to talk to you. Thank you, Gavin. Gavin Ellis from the environmental charity Hubbub. It's a great idea.